On the last video, we sawed up some smaller pine logs into 6x6s, and I mentioned that a lot of times it's just not worth it to pick up the offcuts, put them back on the mill, flip them 3 times, and try to get an extra 1 by something out of them. It's just not worth it time-wise when I could actually be doing more and more of what I actually need. On this log, it's a much different story. This is a very large log here. It's pine as well, and there's a rock. I'm glad I saw that before we started. So it's much larger than those smaller ones that we were working on the other day. This one is going to be 17 inches. This is the small end, by the way. 17 inches right there. 17 and a half right there. Actually, it's a little bit larger than I thought it was. So what I want to try to do, and this may be just a little bit ambitious, but I want to try to get 4 6x6s, 4 true 6x6 timbers out of this. And again, that's a little bit ambitious. That means we're going to need at least a 12 and 3/8 cant, something like that, maybe 12.5 inch cant to achieve that. So let's give it a try and see if we can get 4 6x6s out of this log. If I want to maximize the size of my cant out of this log and get a 12.5 inch cant, that means I'm going to have to minimize the offcuts here. I've got my depth set to 15.5. That should give me a decent enough flat surface to work with after that offcut is gone, and it'll also give me 3 inches to cut off on the other side when we get there. Log was pretty ugly on the outside, but it's looking nice on the inside. Look at that. So I'm trying to take as little off as possible, and I've got this blade depth set at about 12 5/8 at this point. I only need a 12.5 inch cant, but the more I can get, the better off I'll be, because sometimes you just don't know how much extra you're going to need, and you can't add to a log, you can always take away. I'm gonna go ahead and replace this blade because it seems to really be struggling through the cut, and this blade has had a few logs through it, so it's past time. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned on the last video that I was going to order a new belt for this right here, that drive belt. I never did. Probably should do that. The tensioning system on these smaller wood miser mills is pretty ingenious. You've got this right here which adjusts your tension, and basically what you do is you just screw this in and then lock your arm here. Then you just check to make sure that the top of this bolt right here, the head of this bolt rather, is even with the bottom of the washer on this adjustment. and it's not. So what I'm going to do is just turn this wheel a couple times to make sure the blade is seated where it's supposed to be on these belts here, and then we'll finish adjusting the tension. A little bit more. That should do it. Blade tension is really, really important on a mill. It affects stuff like belt life on the wheels, it affects blade life, it affects the quality of the cut, it affects a lot of different things, and the tension is pretty dramatic. It's something like 2,000 psi on that blade, and it needs to be in a pretty close range or you're going to have problems. By the looks of things so far, I think we're going to be successful in getting our why do I keep saying that? Our 4 6x6s out of this log. So the face of this cut here, at least right here, is 11 inches, which is really good. And this ended up being about 12 and a half, or pretty much exactly 12 and a half. So I don't think we're going to have any trouble getting our 4 6x6s out of this. The best thing to have done there would not have been to flip it so many times like I did and end up with this cant, but it would have been to go down, get a 6-inch cant out of it and then flip it from there, and that would have prevented having to roll it so much. But we've been talking so much about this 12.5-inch cant, I really just wanted to see it. So here it is, and it turned out extremely good with very little wane. I think this is the most wane that this whole cant has got on it. A little bit on the bottom, but not a whole lot. So yeah, we're looking at exactly 12.5 inches there, exactly 12.5 inches in the other direction. Let's get our 6x6s. And the wood itself is some beautiful, beautiful wood. The outside of the log, I mentioned this earlier, but the outside of the log was pretty ugly, but you can see the inside is really nice. I don't think that could have worked out a whole lot better. That's 6. Why do I keep doing that? That's 4 true 6x6 timbers out of that log. Very, very little waste. And I don't know if y'all, how well y'all can see this, but I'm really interested in this little stick right here in the middle. Oh, I thought I was going to be cool and just pull the thing straight out. Let's see if we can get that out. I'm kind of intrigued about that. There it is. I don't know why that's interesting to me, it just kind of is. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one.